Hi students, Miss McKittrick is here. I just wanted to take this opportunity to make a little introduction video to teach you guys a little bit about our next subject we're going to be learning about, which is known as cellular respiration. All living things on Earth will go through at least the first stage of cell respiration, and that's why it's so important for us to learn about. It is the way that your body takes the food that you eat and converts it into energy, usable energy inside your body to keep you alive. I'm going to play this short introduction video that kind of introduces cell respiration. So, running, jumping, learning at school, or even just playing video games requires a lot of energy. And if you run out of energy, then you need to refuel by eating. The food that you eat is converted inside your body to generate energy that you then can use for many things. This process is called cellular respiration and happens inside your body. Your cells use the glucose from the food and oxygen from the air you breathe and turn it into energy, water, and carbon dioxide gas that ends up in your exhaled breath. Now I'm going to pause the video here. I really like this diagram to give you guys an introduction into cell respiration. If you look on the left side of the diagram, remember these are called our reactants. They're what we're starting with. The arrows are pointing in to the center part, which represents a cell in your body. In order for you to go through cellular respiration, your body needs two things: glucose, which is another fancy word for sugar, which comes from the food that you eat, and oxygen, which is the air that you breathe in. I noticed by looking at the quiz you guys took yesterday, a lot of people are still confused at what gas we have to breathe in to keep us alive. That gas is oxygen. Without oxygen, you would suffocate and die because your body couldn't go through the process we're learning about today, cellular respiration. So you need these two things to go in: glucose and oxygen. Well, what are you producing? If you look over here on the right, the most important thing you're producing is right here in the center: energy. Energy, energy, energy. We're essentially taking the energy from our food and the oxygen that we breathe and turning it into usable energy in our body that's going to keep us alive. The waste products are here at the top: carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is the gas that we breathe out. It's poisonous, it's wasteful. We want to get it out of our bodies. And water. Water is also a waste product. This is part of the reason why you urinate and part of the reason why you sweat. You are getting rid of that excess water from your body, converting your energy from your food into usable energy in your body. So to help us kind of break this down a little bit more, today you guys are going to be doing this worksheet that was posted in Google Classroom. I'm just going to kind of talk through it and then give you guys time to work on the worksheet. I'm reading at the top. Today we're going to learn about cellular respiration, which is a process made up of three major steps or stages. All living things are going to go through version or step one of this process. But a living thing will only go through steps 2 and 3 if they have mitochondria and oxygen. Mitochondria is simply where this process is going to take place. I'll show you in a second in the picture at the bottom. And oxygen is the gas that we breathe in. This last sentence is really, really, really important. The reason we need to learn about cellular respiration is because this is the process used by living things to convert or change our food, specifically sugar, into usable energy, ATP, to keep us alive. So the biggest thing today is we want to look for this molecule, ATP. You don't have to understand exactly what it is or what it looks like. What it means is energy in your body, energy to keep you alive, energy to do work. The more ATP you can get, the better off you'll be. So at the bottom, we are going to look at a diagram, and you're going to be looking at this diagram to complete your homework assignment. Remember, when we are looking at this diagram, and we've gone over this before, reactants are the arrows pointing in and products are the arrows coming out. Now I'm going to break down this diagram a little bit, and then I'll let you guys spend the rest of your time today working on answering these questions. So as you can see, our diagram is broken into 3 parts or steps. Glycolysis is step 1. The Krebs cycle is called step 2. It kind of looks like a cycle. And then step 3 is called the electron transport. Now, I would never want you guys to memorize what's going on in these steps, but if I gave you this diagram, you need to be able to read it and understand what is going in, what is going out, and what is happening. One of the important pieces is, where is this happening? So step 1, and just step 1, is taking place in a part of your cell called the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm just means pretty much the empty space inside your cell. In this picture, everything in yellow represents the cytoplasm. So since it's the empty place inside of a cell, all living things have it, and therefore all living things go through this step. Now, what this first step is taking glucose or sugar and breaking it down. And we are getting 2 ATPs, or 2 units of energy, out of this. 2 units of energy. This right here, this product, is what's most important. The other product we make is called pyruvic acid. Now, I don't know exactly what pyruvic acid is, but I know that it's what we get when we take glucose and tear it apart. All living things will go through this first step. The next 2 steps happen below, and they only happen if 2 conditions are in place. Number 1, if the cell has what's called a mitochondria. A mitochondria is this structure over here that's orangey reddish and looks like a big bean. The mitochondria is where these processes take place. So mitochondria are found in plants. Yes, plants go through this, and animals. Something small and simple like bacteria isn't going to have a mitochondria. The second thing that you need to have in place to go through these 2 steps is oxygen. If you are not breathing oxygen, your body cannot go through these steps. And this is important to realize, because if you look at the next 2 steps, in the Krebs cycle, we get 2 units of energy. But here at the bottom, when we go through electron transport, we're getting 32 units of energy. So think about that. Step 1, we got 2 units of energy. Step 2, we got 2 units of energy. And step 3, we got 32 units of energy. So we really, really, really want to get to this last step, because that's where you're going to get the most energy. And the only way you can get there, if you look here at the very bottom, is if we have oxygen present, if you are breathing. So stage 2 and stage 3 take place in the mitochondria. Stage 2 is when we go through this cycle. We're breaking down this pyruvic acid into NADH and FADH2. You don't really need to know what those things are for. It's kind of like we're in a factory, and we're starting with our materials at the beginning. That was our sugar, and we're breaking it down piece by piece by piece throughout these steps. One thing I do want to point out is, here is where carbon dioxide is made. And this is our waste product. This is our waste gas. This is what we breathe out. If you don't breathe this out, you are slowly going to poison yourself to death. Finally, like I mentioned, these NADH and FADH2 go into our last step along with oxygen. And this is where we get the most bang for our buck, the most energy. 32 units of energy. And notice down here, water is also a waste product at this step. So, like I've mentioned a couple times now, the goal here, the big goal, the whole point of this entire thing is to produce as much ATP as possible. ATP. We need as much of it as possible. We made 2 units in the first step. We made 2 units in the second stage. And we made 32 in the final stage, for a total of 36 units of energy if you go through each and every step, which is the goal. To go through those steps, you need to breathe. If you've ever been working out and you've ever got a cramp in your muscle, or if you've ever felt super winded or super tired all of a sudden, you're probably not breathing in enough oxygen. And if you're not breathing in enough oxygen, you're never going to get to this last step, and you're going to run out of energy in your muscles, and therefore they're going to cramp up or tighten up, or you're just going to kind of like run out of gas, run out of steam. This is why. Because if you don't breathe and you don't eat foods, specifically foods that have healthy sugars in them, your body can't go through this process of cellular respiration. And if you can't go through that process of cellular respiration, your body eventually stops working and stops and starts to break down and doesn't have the energy to keep you alive. So that's why we have to learn about this, because this is the reason why you have energy to be alive today. Good luck with your questions at the bottom. Come back to this video if you need help, or let us know if you need any help, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.